السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Inshallah, I'm going to talk a little bit off tangent today and not related to the juz that we're doing. I'm not a scholar myself, so I couldn't do any tafsir for the ayah, but there's a really interesting topic that really burns my heart and I really wanted to share with all of the brothers right here. And it's tied to a story of a scholar, and then we derive from reflections the lessons that we learn from that story. And it's the story of one of the great muhaddis by the name of Sheikh Nadhr ibn Shumail rahimahullah. He was one of the muhaddis in Basra and one of the teachers of Imam Bukhari. And there are few narrations that Imam Bukhari does quote him, and he was also really master of literature and linguistics when it comes to that. And the story basically revolves around that Sheikh Nadhr ibn Shumail, he was leaving Basra towards Khurasan. And he was doing hijrah. And why was he doing hijrah? It was not for any other means, but just because he could not fulfill one-time meal for his family. Subhanallah. A big muhaddis. Through the blessings from him, we have Bukhari and some narrations in Bukhari through his blessings. And why is he leaving Basra? That there's so much poverty that he has to fulfill one-time meal for his family, and he has to leave from Basra to Khurasan. And as he was leaving Basra, it's mentioned in books that there were approximately 3,000 people that accompanied him outside the city. And these were not ordinary people, my brothers. These were great ulama, students, muhaddis, all the students that were benefiting from him from all these years, they all were like outside the city, and they were all in tears and crying that their big teacher is leaving and they could not help him. When Sheikh Nadhr, he saw this, his heart melted and he sat down, and all the students sat down with him. And he said that, I understand your needs and my needs, but there's one thing that I wanted to say, that if anyone over here in these 3,000 people, big muhaddis and ulama, if one of you can take my responsibility and give me one-time meal of red beans, he's not asking for any lavish meal, one-time meal of red beans, 1 pound every day, if you can provide me, inshallah, I'll stay and I'll keep doing it. And imagine the level of poverty with people of knowledge at that time, and through their blessings we have these huge books. There was not even a single person who could take that responsibility. And ultimately, Sheikh Nadhr ibn Shumail had to leave the city, and he went to Khurasan. And when he went to Khurasan, the winds of change came in that city. And at that time over there, the Amir al-Mu'mineen, or the Khalifa, was Ma'mun Rashid, who himself was one of the students of knowledge. And as Sheikh Nadhr started doing a lot of majalis over there, starting teaching people, Ma'mun got him closer to him. And one day he was sitting and he told Sheikh Nadhr that, I want to recite one of the hadiths to you. Can you listen with me? So he recited, the chain of narration, and when he recited their hadith, there was this one word that he recited incorrectly. And this word is basically sadad. And it can be linguistically, comes with sadad, and sidat with dhamma, kasra, or fatha. And Ma'mun recited this word with fatha, sadad. And Sheikh Nadhr ibn Shumail, he corrected him and he said, no, I think this word is with kasra. And he said, do you think I'm doing a mistake or I'm doing it by myself? He said, no, I think the chain of narration that you have, there was probably some error in there. He said, prove your point. So Sheikh Nadhr ibn Shumail, he then recited the hadith and he recited his chain of narration, and he said the words come with sadad. And then he used some other examples, the same sadad words in different other ahadith, showing reflecting the same meaning. And then Ma'mun wanted some more evidence. And he said that he recited a poetry that had exactly the same word with the same meaning, proving his point that the word is actually sadad, and he corrected one error. When Ma'mun heard this, he got a letter and he wrote something, and he said, why don't you go to the treasurer and give it to him? So Sheikh Nadr ibn Shumayl, he went to the treasurer and he gave to him, and on the note it was written, give him 50,000 gold coins on behalf of Ma'mun. Imagine, just correcting one from Fatha doing to Kasra. Not big mistake, small mistakes. But just because they honored the knowledge and ilm so much that he gave him 50,000. So the treasurer was Fadl ibn Sahal. And he, when asked that 50,000, I have never heard Ma'mun giving anyone this much. Tell me what happened. And he narrated the entire story. He himself, Fadl, was also the student of knowledge. He said, take 30,000 from my side. And he gave him one small correction, 80,000 gold coins. Imagine. And that changed the entire fortune. So the reflections that we get from these like beautiful stories is how value people of our prior predecessors has for ilm, and how respect a lot of people used to give for these scholars. In this time and age, we see that we want to make our offsprings and children, we want to make them doctors, we want to make them engineers, we want to make them lawyers and anything else. But maybe, yes, inshallah, they'll become a scholar as well. The reason is why, because when we value ilm in our lives, when we teach our kids about the value of our scholars that are in our community, in our society, when we tell them to value the books that we read that are in our bookshelves, and those knowledge did not came by just mere occurrence, right? Look at amount of effort, amount of poverty, all these prior predecessors. We are not even going up the chain to the halat of the Sahaba, that how they suffered, narrating and collecting all these things. And now we keep them in our bookshelves and we don't even look at them. So when we don't value the ilm and we don't value the people who got all these collected for us in forms of books for us to study, then we won't value that profession. The reason we value the other profession is because we value how this is being successful in this dunya, how that person is being successful in that. But when we teach our kids about all these different, respecting the scholars, respecting the people of book, they will have the value. Then they will say that, Dad, I want to become, alim. I want to go to Egypt and Saudi and Morocco and Pakistan or somewhere, and I want to study 4 years after my college. I want to get that knowledge as well. It's not just for everybody, it's for me as well. That ilm, that burn, it will come in our hearts by that self. And in any country, in any madaris we go, if you look, even in this teen and age, subhanallah, the halat, the situations are the same. They are not the high-class elite people. I can speak for my country that madaris are the lowest of the lowest class. They even use the word, Maulvi, oh, he's a Maulvi, They use that word to taunt people that, oh, it is something that is brushed off profession. It really should hurt our heart when people say that word. And when you actually go into these madaris, these kids, they probably have no parents. They are paraplegic. One of the great sheikh in Karachi, he was Sheikh al-Tafsir. I remember he passed away. He was martyred by a gun attack. He was paraplegic. He was born with polio. His parents left him at age of 5 at a madrasa. Madrasa will take care of him. All these madaris are self-funded. They grew him up. And guess what? One day, after 30 years, he became the Sheikh al-Tafsir with thousands and thousands of students. The streets of Karachi were flooded if you look at the janazah. Imagine if the parents would knew the maqam of this paraplegic child. Imagine if they knew the respect of the scholars and the respect of the ilm that we should have. So this is the month of Ramadan. This is the month that we listen to Quran, we listen to various books of seerah, we listen to different shuyukh. We should ignite that love for our scholars and for our books and for ilm in this month of Ramadan, so that we ignite that fire in our homes and in our future generation. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين